Hello guys and welcome to my channel. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you are not gonna miss any video in the future. If you are international student and you are targeting Turkey to study and you are wondering what sort of dormitory I would have because maybe you are Turkish scholarship holder. So in this case, what sort of dormitory is waiting for you? What kind of services I will have? How can I, let's say, how can I live there? So all this information I'm gonna be discussing today in this video. So let's start right away. So in Turkey, there are plenty of dormitories, some of which are governmental and others are private. So today I'm going to be talking about only the governmental one. When you see KYK, that means the governmental dormitory. Okay, in Turkish KYK YURDU. About 521 are dedicated for girls and 403 dedicated for guys. Since about 2012-2013, the Turkish government has started to separate dormitories. So they have dormitories for girls and others for guys. If you are wondering what mixed dormitory means for Turkey before that date, so let me explain to you. You have different buildings for girls and different buildings for guys if we are talking about buildings. That's been said, the sleeping places are completely separated. But when it comes to restaurant, when it comes to common spaces, let's say garden, activity spaces, they are mixed. Okay. But nowadays, there is no mixed dormitories, so you have dedicated dormitories for girls and others for boys. For this kind of dormitories, they are normally dedicated for Turkish people, but nevertheless, they have a quota for international students and particularly for Turkish scholarship holders, YTP, YTP. And normally for Turkish scholarship holders, the fees for the dormitories are covered by the scholarship itself. Otherwise, you have to pay. But still, it's far less expensive than the private ones. For you as an international student without a scholarship, you still can apply. It could be a bit difficult for you to get a place in, but nevertheless, you can try your chance. Then you have to apply through their website. Then they will see if there is a place for you or not. Why it's nice to have a place there? It's cheaper. You can easily learn Turkish language because it's full of Turkish people there, so you can practice your language. You can enrich also your personality because you are gonna meet many different people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, from different countries. So it's an opportunity for you. Above all, regardless being an international student or Turkish one, remember that these governmental dormitories, they are spread all over Turkey. That has been said, if you need to go to another city to have an exam, let's say to pass an exam, or just for vacation in the vacation period especially, then you simply can get a paper from your administration office in your original dormitory stating that you are currently staying in that dormitory, and then you go with this paper to the host dormitory, then you can stay for free. It's something nice really to have when you are a student there, especially with limited budget. Let's talk about a particular case. If you are a Turkish scholarship holder, you go to the dormitory that they have assigned to you. The administration office at that dormitory, they are aware of your arrival. So you go there and you give them all the documents and probably some additional documents that they ask you for. And the most important thing is to register your fingerprint. Otherwise, you won't be able to access the dormitory. With these kind of dormitories, you have a specific timing for entering and leaving the dormitory. That's been said, you are not allowed to leave the dormitory at night or to arrive at night normally. So you have to mind that you cannot, let's say, go out at 4 a.m. in the morning because it's closed, and you cannot enter the dormitory after maybe 10 or 11 p.m. It depends really on the dormitory and on the timing as well. But nevertheless, pay attention to these rules, because if you want to live in peace in these kind of dormitories, you have to follow the rules. You cannot stay late, but does not mean that you have to stay there always. I mean, you can go for a party or you can stay at your friend's place or whatsoever, but you have to take a permission in advance. And normally you have to define how many days are you gonna stay away. I'm not talking about the vacation time. I'm talking about the time between during the semesters. How can they control? Remember that you have to give your fingerprint at each time you enter the dormitory and at each time you exit the dormitory. That means the computer itself can calculate how many times you are away from the dormitory. And if you pass a certain number, you could be expelled from the dormitory. And of course, you don't want that to happen. So we have talked a lot about the fingerprint. That means there is no guest can enter the dormitory. So don't try to ask the security guys to allow you to have some guests inside the dormitory, because you won't be able to do that. And moreover, now we have talked about administration stuff in the dormitories. So now let's talk about the nature of these dormitories. So it's quite rare to have single room for one single person in this kind of dormitories. So mainly they are at least 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or even 6 people in one room. I have experienced up to 6 people in one room. To the best of my knowledge, it's only maximum of 6 persons in one single room. Regarding to the toilet and the bathroom, they could be private and also they could be shared. But don't worry if they are shared. That means you will have plenty of WCs and plenty of bathrooms to serve the whole floor. When it comes to beds, you could have single beds, or you could have also bunk beds. I'm talking about 2-level beds. What kind of services you will have in the dormitory in general? So you'll have a study room. If you don't want to study in your room, you can go to the study room and study there. It's quite spacious and normally it's open 7/7, 24 hours. You also have internet service. These days you have a Wi-Fi that is provided for free in probably now in all the dormitories. You also have services like washing clothes, dryers, maybe ironing. Most of these services are for free. I mean, you go yourself and you put your clothes inside a washing machine. So the washing machine and the drying machine are at your disposal. But in other dormitories, it's paid service, but nevertheless, the fees are considerably low. So at the end of the day, you have this service whether it is free or paid, but mainly, as I said, mainly it's free of charge. You could have also a small fridge inside your room. That means you can store some food, some drinks, etc. But it's not necessarily. So in some of the dormitories I have stayed in, some of them they were equipped with this kind of fridge and others were not. Normally you are not allowed to cook inside your room because there is a restaurant and you have to go to the restaurant in order to have a cooked food. Also, you are not normally allowed to have a kettle in order to boil some water for tea or whatsoever, hot drinks, because again, there is a cafeteria, there's a canteen, you can go there and you can pick up whatever you want. So how stringent these rules are, it depends on each dormitory. Normally, the kettle could be tolerated, but maybe cooking is a little bit difficult to be tolerated. Rooms normally they are open, especially if you are talking about buildings. If the dormitory consists of houses, of separate houses, that means you have one door and you can close this door and you are in peace afterwards. But if it comes to buildings, I'm talking about buildings. Sometimes they are small, so 5, 6 stories, and other buildings might reach up to 15, 20 stories. I'm not talking about skyscrapers, but still they are huge buildings. So in the floor, you probably can, normally you cannot even close the door of your room. So mind closing your cupboards with a lock to keep your stuff safe. That's all from me today, guys. And if you have any question in your mind, please don't hesitate to write me in the comment section. And don't hesitate also to share this video with your friends or with the people you think they might benefit from this kind of content. And don't hesitate to click the thumb up for this video if you like this content. And I will see you in the next video.